wrote the first draft of the 10-point platform and program, but we didn't have a name for it. We had no name for it. The 10-point platform and program. We want power to determine our own destiny. We want full employment for our people. We want decent housing, fit for shelter of human beings. We want decent education that talks about our true history. We wanted an end to the robbery of our black communities by the avaricious corporate monopoly capitalists. What was it? 6, we wanted all black men and women to be exempt from military service. We changed that later on to free preventative medical health care. Number 7, end to police brutality and murder of black people. Number 8, right to have juries of our own peers for all black men and women in jails and prisons have been tried by all white jurors and so on. And summed the program up with the first 2 paragraphs of the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America. When in the course of Huey, I just thought it was great. I said, Huey, come downstairs here, man. I said, look at this, man. It says, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for anyone. I said, now we can change this a little bit and kind of paraphrase it, whatever, etc. When in the course of human events, listen to it, becomes necessary for any one people to dissolve the political bondage which are connected with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature, nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of humankind, dictates they should declare the causes which impel them to dissolve that political bondage. When a long train of abuses and usurpations pursues and invariably evinces a design to reduce a people under absolute despotism, then it is the right of the people to alter, change that government, and provide new guards for their future security and happiness. The Declaration of Independence. Or as he said, just a white man's knowledge. I said, no, that's my knowledge. Why come you say that? I say, it's 1 + 1 = 2, the white man's knowledge. I said, that's just a fact. You know a mathematical fact? Yeah. And then, of course, in dialectics, you know, I always taught party members, we use dialectics. We don't use myths. We like to do research. Quantitative increase, quantitative decrease causes qualitative leap or change. You had to know and understand that when you came around me and doing organizing in the community. The increased amount of times you sell a Black Panther Party newspaper in the designated area where you sell it, and over and over and over you sell it, and an increased amount of times you talk to the brothers and sisters that you're doing, you are decreasing the apathy and increasing the consciousness. So that's what it was about. How do you educate the people about programs, about organizing, and unify the people? And we came up with all these programs, beginning with the Free Breakfast for Children program, 6L anemia testing program, free preventative medical health care clinics. That's what we started with. But party members from Seattle, Washington, to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, to Boston with Sister Archie Jones, who run that chapter up there, to Chicago, they got creative with the whole concept of grassroots community programs. I looked up, and Winston-Salem has got a free ambulance program. I said, hey, right on. I hadn't even thought of that, but I said, right on. I looked up in Boston, and then Sister Archie Jones got a free pharmacy program. Hey, right on. Richmond, Virginia had a free pest control program. Next thing you know, we have 24, and they expanded even after that, programs in the community to organize and unify the people around. All growing out of the foundation of the 10-point platform and program of our Black Panther Party. That 10-point platform and program. You know, even when we wrote that program, I said, now Huey, we don't want to write some long dissertative kind of stuff. He said, what are you talking about? I said, well, you know how some brothers and sisters, they're educated and stuff. But they try to talk to the grassroots brothers and people, and they say, the basic socioeconomic structure, the adverse conditions that you're subjected to, and consider in particular sociological and psychological factors. You know, and the brother, he said, hey, Brother Bobby, what you talking about, man? When you get down here and get playing with brothers and sisters, then they understand you. And that's why we wrote the 10-point program and tried to stay away from that dissertative kind of leaning in language. But that program, as it's been said tonight already, is just as relevant today as it was then. And I mean that in a more profound way. This particular movement, this particular Occupy Wall Street movement, and that in my last 3 speaking engagements just this fall, I mean, I walked in, and the first thing I say to these 500 or 600 or 700 students while I'm speaking at, Occupy Wall Street! And the whole crowd jumped right on. And thing. And then finally, on the internet, they put out the first, 40-some odd points of what they were issuing about. And I read them all. I said, wow, what these guys are talking about, every point in the 10-point platform and program fits right into everything they're talking about. The unemployment, the decent housing, et cetera, so it's right there. So, you know, our party evolved to have a broader class analysis rather than a race-only analysis. We understood how to look at the broader class analysis of what was happening. So that became literally a stepping stone point for us really to begin to expand. The great characteristics of the Black Panther Party was so great when we got coalition going. Other organizations, such as the Red Guard in Iwakun, with the young Chinese Asians, and Asian Student Alliance that Richard Aoki started up, it was another organization, the Young Lords political party, and AIM, American Indian Movement, all wrote their own 10, 12, or 14 programs modeling after what we had written, but more specifically to their inner culture and their community and what was happening. And so that 10-point platform and program is basic. I mean, it's really no different from a lot of civil rights organizations and other organizations, except that we in the Black Panther Party really says we believe in the right to self-defense. Right. And I guess that's what captured the imagination, not only of a lot of people, but captured the imagination of the white racist power structure. These Negroes talking about defending themselves. Well, I'll be darned. You know what I mean? They called me one day over to do a television show in San Francisco, Race Relations in America. And I took my 10-point platform and program, but also took 500 of the 3,000 racist letters that had been sent to us in the Black Panther Party. I had given a directive somewhere back there that all racist letters to all chapters and branches got to be sent in so we can give it to our lawyers, because that would be evidence in the courtroom for our right to defend ourselves, you know what I mean? And so I took these letters over to the host and I dumped them out there, and he says, why are you dumping these letters? I said, you the one got the program up there called Race Relations in America. This is a bunch of racist Ku Klux Klan, Nazis, everybody here, talking about killing and murdering us Black Panthers. They're gonna hang us, they're gonna do this, blah, 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 blah. And I says, boom. I says, now, what you need to do, I told the host, look at these letters. I said, there ain't no return addresses on none of them. No return addresses on none of them. I says, now, all you peace-loving people, with your white, black, blue, red, green, yellow, polka dot, I'm ready to say something. But you peace-loving people, I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about these hardcore racists here. Every racist who sent this, first, my home address is 809 57th Street. You ain't got no address on yours. I said, headquarters address is so-and-so. I gave about 10 addresses for the Black Panther Party's office and headquarters. I said, now when you come to shoot, kill, and murder us, when you come, remember, we have shotguns, we got pistols, and we will exercise the right to defend ourselves. So when you start shooting at us, we shoot back. My point is, we have to stand up to defend ourselves. We was talking about defending our constitutional, democratic, civil, human right, to organize our people, to raise the consciousness of our people, to unify our people. That's all we were talking about. This wasn't no macho stuff, I'm bad, man. You had to be disciplined. Even when we took the first guns out in the streets, we disciplined all the brothers and sisters. How you cannot point the gun. Point to the law they had to know about the guns. You cannot point a loaded weapon and all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is the kind of stuff we taught them. And I'll never forget that day when we first went out there and got that first real disciplined, organized patrol together. And that cop says, you have no right to observe me. 50, 60 people standing on the sidewalk. And he says, no, California State Supreme Court ruling states that every citizen has the right to stand and observe a police officer carrying out their duty as long as they stand a reasonable distance away. Reasonable distance in that particular room is constituted 8 to 10 feet. I'm standing approximately 20 feet from you, and we'll observe you whether you like it or not. And some sister on the sidewalk say, well, go head on and tell it. The cop says, is that gun loaded? He would say, if I know it's loaded enough. He said, well, I have it right here. He said, step back, you have no right here. Went off, such Supreme Court versus somebody versus so-and-so, so therefore it's my private property. You cannot remove my private property from it without due process of law. Step back, you cannot touch my weapon. The tall brother standing there, he said, man, what kind of Negroes are these?